الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. We all gathered here today for the Jalsa, or the prize giving ceremony of this Madrasa. If you look at the Madrasa, it is made up of 4 elements, 4 parts. And each part has a very, very important part to play. If you start from the top, you have the administration, the masjid committee, the madrasa committee, the organizers, the helpers. Then you have the teachers, you have the parents, and last but not least, definitely not least, the most important are the students. And each of these 4 elements must play their part correctly for any madrasa to be successful. And if any one of them shows shortcoming, then the hope results will not be achieved. We will have a failure totally or partially. We will not gain our total success. First is the masjid committee, the madrasa committee. It was good that he spoke before me. If I said anything to offend him, he would have thanked me. So he thanked me before I came on to speak. It's a good thing. The masjid committee is very important. The madrasa committee is very important. It is their responsibility to make sure that when the teacher comes into the class, the students come into the class, everything is there for them. They do not have to worry about the facilities, about what goes on behind the curtains. The teacher can come and perform his duty. The child can come and perform his duty. The fans are working, the toilets working, the wuzu khana is working, the carpet's up to date, the fees, everything, that's their responsibility. And they should take this a very important responsibility, take a pride upon themselves, that we are doing the khidmah of the students of the Quran. We are doing the khidmah of Ahlul Quran. We are honoring the Ahlul Quran. Maybe you cannot teach. Everybody has the limitations. You cannot teach, maybe you cannot do something else. But you're running around behind the scenes and trying to get everything ready. It's also a very, very great act. It's a very great act. But at the same time, if you may offend somebody, I'm very sorry. But let me be very clear. It is also the responsibility of the masjid committee, the madrasa committee, to understand the limitations. It is your responsibility to hire the best staff, hire the best teacher you can find. Make sure this teacher is able and capable. Make sure you have a teacher who you can trust with the future of the ummah. And then hand over the responsibility to him. If the West Indies Cricket Board were to start interfering with who should open the batting, who should open the bowling, and who should be picked, this team is going to be a failure. It is their responsibility and their duty to provide the best coaches, the best training facilities. And then it is the responsibility of the coach and the captain to decide how to approach each and every game. If they start interfering with the selection process and the team meetings, the team will not be a success. This is the limitations. Similarly, it is the masjid committee and the madrasa committee responsibility to provide all of the facilities and then to make sure that they have capable teachers who have a vision, who have an understanding of the madrasa, understanding of the students, and then trust these teachers. Sometimes you have interference from the committee. So why are you not giving sabak? Why is he not doing this? You may be the committee, you may be the president, but it does not make you an expert in education. It does not make you an expert in how children should be taught. Yes? As a person you can give feedback, you can give suggestion, you can give constructive criticism, and this is how things are improved. But it is a responsibility of the teacher. In the old time days, you come madrasa, finish Quran, and that's the biggest pinnacle. And my kid came and he finished Quran when he's 6 years old. Think, there's much more to this. The teacher who is here, who you trusted with the students, you've put them here because you trust them. And they now understand that it is not just a matter of getting the kid or the child to finish Quran quickly and get out of madrasa. Quran is not something, this also applies to the parents as well. That Quran is not something to be finished. You don't finish Quran. Quran is a science you have to master. Quran is not something to finish. It's a science you have to master. Your kid, he finishes Quran, he's 6 years old. He can't play the qaf properly, the kaf properly, he can't read properly. What's the point? You share out ice cream, you give a big dawah. But what have you achieved? The kid does not know how to read the Quran. You've gone through the Quran so fast. He prays Quran. When a person, Madrasa hears the Quran, he feels like vomiting. I'm serious. Sometimes when you hear people reading Quran, it crawls your skin. It disrespects the Quran. Because they haven't learned the Quran properly. And if that's all you want and you're wasting your time, don't send your kids to Madrasa. If you do not like the system, the teachers are here because they understand that it is my responsibility. That if this kid does not pray the Quran properly, kid does not pray the Quran properly, he's reading it wrong, I am questionable. It is my responsibility. Sometimes we have a very competitive nature in society. It is good in certain aspects, sometimes it's bad. And this is one aspect where it gets bad, that you have a competitive nakapayjai. Now my kid is 10 years old and hasn't finished the Quran. My kids are 10 years old, they haven't even finished the 4th para. Why? Because it is not an objective to finish the Quran. If the tajweed is not correct, they cannot pronounce the Quran correctly, they cannot read the Quran correctly, Madrasa is a failure. Madrasa is a failure. Do you understand? So, if the parents are going to interfere, the committee is going to interfere, then the teachers will not be able to produce anything. They will not be able to get success. They have, the same way you're worried about your kids finishing the Quran, they have more worry. Why? Because they understand there's a certain standard. That the Quran has to be taught in a certain way. The Quran has to be read in a certain way. And if it's not done this way, and you only get the pressure on the parents put pressure on the committee, sabak nahi aate, bo haru pade, sabak nahi aate. And the committee, they don't have the understanding, they put pressure on Maulvi Sahab. System fails. System fails. Everything in the world is improving and progressing. Our madrasas need to improve, they need to progress. I do not know how it is, I'm not saying it has not progressed. But there's always room for improvement. So first of all, the Masjid Committee. MashaAllah, the work you're doing behind the scenes, may Allah accept it. Continue to do it. Continue to put in the effort. Allah will reward you greatly. Sometimes you cannot be in the forefront, but behind the scenes, the work you can put in is of great benefit, much appreciated. But at the same time, know your limitations. Secondly, we have the asatiza. Both 2 points I want to mention. The positive point is that the effort the teachers put in is unexplainable. I always say, sorry, Mustaqim Maaf, but a teacher who teaches, he's a madman. Seriously. A teacher who teaches a maktab, he's mad. Mad in one of two ways. Either he's mad, he has no brains about anything, or he's mad about the Quran. And inshallah, these are all mad about the Quran. That's why they teach. Because when you come here, you all know how the pay is. There's no pay. Pay is very low. The only reason a person in his sane mind teaches in the maktab because he loves the Quran. He loves children. He loves deen. You come in, you get pressure from the parents, you get pressure from the committee. But despite this, for the love of the Quran, it's a true fact that the Maulvi Sahibs, majority of the time, they have more concern about your kids than you have about your kids. It's a fact. Sorry if it hurts you, but it is a fact. I went to a Jalsa a few years ago, Maulana Ismail Dohra, he was talking, he said, I met a parent. And the parent said, Maulana said to the parent, MashaAllah, your kid is going very good in his class, MashaAllah. He goes, his class, MashaAllah. Sure. So he met the Maulvi Sahib and he said to him that MashaAllah, the kid is going well in his class. The parent did not even know that his child has finished the Quran and the Maulvi Sahib had chosen him to go into his class. That's how much concern they have for. That's how much concern they have for the children. I met another Maulvi Sahib in Barbados who said that when Johnny joining, why do I get the sabak? I fold the page in half and send it home. Next day it comes back, the page is still folded in half. Majority of the work comes here at home, comes at Madrasa, sorry. If the teachers, they work very hard. And the only reason they do it is either they're mad from the dunyawi point of view, or they're mad for the Quran, they're mad for deen. Because only a mad person can see the maktab. The children gives you headaches. I'm telling you, I taught in maktab. It's not an easy job. They drive you up the wall. Kids drive you up the wall. And that's kids, that's how they are. And some kids are immature and childish, that's how kids are. And some are downright rude. They have no upbringing from home. They have no upbringing from their parents. The language is foul, the behavior is foul, no respect. It drives you up, though it's very difficult, especially younger kids. So appreciate the effort that these teachers put in. Nobody has told me to do that, I'm saying from my own accord. Appreciate and value the effort that they put in. MashaAllah. You invite many scholars from out of the country, MashaAllah, brilliant. Keep on doing that. It's barakah. But I ask you a question. When a Mawli Sahib comes from overseas to give da'wah, I saw recently on the host, he's putting the shoes straight for the guest. I said, MashaAllah, very good, brilliant. Respect the ulama. But have you ever done that for your local imam? A Mawli Sahib who's come from England or India, you're putting your shoes straight for him, opening the door for him, MashaAllah, brilliant. I'm not saying not. What has he done for you? Nothing. The Mawli Sahib who sat here and taught your kids, day in, day out, who does imamat, who does tarawih. You only call him for a da'wah when there's a bigger Mawli Sahib. Have you ever called him and said, Mawli Sahib, you know what, you've taught my kids for the last 6 years, I really appreciate it. Please come to the house. Personally, when I don't like da'wah, it takes way too much of my time. And da'wah is appreciation. I'm not asking you to give these guys da'wah. Nobody wants da'wah. Everybody, alhamdulillah, is eating. The time is wasted, a lot of time, takes a lot of time. I'm not asking for it. I'm showing that a da'wah is a sign of appreciation, a token of appreciation. Have you ever gone and said, Mawli Sahib, you taught my kids for 6 years? Please come, give him a gift. You go Umrah, give him a bottle of Zamzam. Bought a gift bottle for them. They don't need gifts. So mashallah, ulama that come from overseas, continue calling. I'm not disregarding. I'm saying to put into perspective. That teacher who puts in and day out effort to get your kids right, to make sure their behavior is up to standard, make sure their Quran is up to standard, you can never respect them. So do you really have respect for ulama? Do you really have respect for knowledge? Or are you just doing respect when it suits you? Because if you call an alim, say, Mara gera aaya, Mara gera dawat khaiya. Think deeper. And the real effort, in Jamaat you have maqami gash. What's the most important one? The maqami gash, the local work. The local work is the effort that the imams, the ulama, running the school, running the madrasa, running the local effort, that is much more important. Because, for example, here I come from England, I do bayan and go back, what hard? Nothing, no hard work. Who's going to do the hard work? People who are here locally. They deserve your respect. They deserve the efforts and the help. They're the main essence. So that's regarding them. And also I'd like to address the ulama. We have to understand we are not perfect. We are also full of faults. Only the Anbiya are perfect. We are also full of faults. I myself am full of faults. I'll give one example of myself. When I first graduated, one is I have a Bajan accent, and secondly is I naturally speak fast. So sometimes I used to speak so fast, but nobody said anything to me in Madrasa. I was giving a lecture, talking, even in bayans probably. One day I decided I recorded my lecture, my bayan myself. I can't understand myself, I was struggling. So just because you're an alim, it doesn't mean you're perfect. We all make mistakes, we all have shortcomings, and we all have ways to improve. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah says, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. That Allah is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah says regarding the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Whatever the Prophet says, it is wahi. He's guided by the angel, he's guided by wahi. But even then Allah is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Take mashwara, take advice, take counsel. Because we're not perfect, we can make mistakes. So the main point of this ayah is to teach us the ummah. So if the Prophet needs advice, the Prophet needs mashwara, then we as human beings, we as ulama, we can also take advice. We can also improve our way of teaching. We could also improve our syllabus. We could also improve our methodologies. Yes, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, keep the stick in the house as a means of discipline, to keep an awe. But think deeper, did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam beat his children up? Did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam need to do this? No. Why? Because he had a much greater weapon. He had the weapon of love, weapon of affection, weapon of respect. And because of this, he never had to lift his hands. Sometimes you may need to. But remember, see these gifts here. These gifts, you put hours of efforts and money collection, so these gifts can make a long-lasting impression on the kids, and they feel happy when they go home. And the same way, these gifts inshallah will bring happiness and encouragement and joy think about the other way. When you hit a child, the effect and the scar it has on them. And this is a society where, I don't know about here, but in schools, they're not treated the same way. They're treated with respect and honor and dignity. So if at school they're treated nicely, they're treated kindly, they're given encouragement, they're given stars, they're given, even when they do bad, they say, well done, much better, good improvement. And at Madrasa, all they get is told off. All they get is licks. Then where will their mind go? I heard a small clip from, I said it before in Belgium, I say it again here. I heard a small clip from Hafiz, Maulana Sa'id Sab, Hafiz Patel Marhoon, rahimahullah ta'ala, his son. And he said, I met one person at the airport. This person was far away from Deen, but I knew him from Maktab. I knew him from Maktab. And at Maktab, he talked to me, Salaam alaikum wa alaikum salam. And the first thing he asked me was he asked regarding an old Mawli Sahab, an old Hafiz Sahab. And the way he asked, you could tell this child was angry and had hatred for this Ustaz. So Maulana Sa'id Sahab said to him, no, relax, chill out, no, what's the problem? He says, when I was in Maktab, he used to call me fat man. And that scarred him. And he goes, the worst thing was he was fatter than me. So this child, he was scarred because the Mawli Sahab kept calling him Jariyo. So this word had an effect, and because of this he had a hatred for the Mawli Sahab. He had a hatred for Mawli Sahab represents Deen. You have to remember the Ustad and the Mawli Sahab, when you sit there, you're not representing Hashim Muhammad, you're not representing the Muhammad family, you're not representing Salara, you're not representing the Haveli Wala family, you're representing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When you sit there and if you say something stupid, you say something wrong, you disrespect the kids and you hurt their heart, you're representing Deen. They will take this in their heart and they remember it for life. So yes, discipline is very important. Discipline is very important. But remember the effects, and if you not discipline properly, it will lead to this hatred for them for religion in their hearts. What does Rasulullah say? Laqinu mawtakum Yasin. That when the person is dying, say to him Yasin. Say to him La ilaha illallah. Encourage him. The most important part of a person's life is when he is dying. The Prophet ﷺ says to him to talqeen. Encourage him to say the kalima La ilaha illallah. What do the fuqaha say? The fuqaha go deeper, they think, ponder. They said yes, encourage him, do not command him. Say, when a person is passing away, sit next to him, say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Do not say to him, say La ilaha illallah. Why? Because what if he says, I don't want to say it? He's in the pangs of death, he's in pain, he's in agony, and he gets frustrated. No, I don't want to say La ilaha, leave me alone. What happens? Instead of causing benefit, what do? Cause harm. Think about that same principle. You're hitting a child, he doesn't know Qul Ya al-Kafirun. He doesn't know Alladhina Kafaru. You're hitting him and beating him over and over again because he can't learn a hard surah. What are you trying to do? Because of that one surah, you're putting him off the rest of his life. I don't have time to go into this much deeper. Think about it, ponder upon it. Number 3, the parents. It is the parents. You hold a very, very important part. I mentioned 2 aspects before. Number 1 is regarding the syllabus. Trust your teachers. And they have more expertise than you. They have a lot of concern for inshallah, they have a lot of concern for the upbringing and education of your children. But you also have to put in a work at home. You have to show respect to the ulama. If you are at home are going to talk bad about the ulama, you are at home are going to criticize the Mawli Sahab, how is a child going to have respect? I hear it with my own ears. That people when they go to dawah, to go to weddings, people here, they sit down and that's the only thing they have to do. Talk about the ulama, talk bad about them. Nobody's perfect. Yes, I have faults. You want to talk about me? I can give you whole much you talk about me. The bad thing I've done in my life. Start from me. I'm not perfect, but we have responsibility. I am not a perfect person. If you wait for a perfect person to sit here and advise, you will never find anybody. You will never find a perfect Mawli Sahab, a perfect mudarris, a perfect muallim. So what you have, appreciate that. And I'm sure if I start talking about you, I'll find faults about you. So but that's not how the world works. So respect the ulama. Respect the ulama. Yes, they have shortcomings. But if you're going to talk bad about them in front of your own kids, then how are your kids going to respect? And if they don't have respect for the ulama, how are they going to learn? Number 1, have respect for the ulama. Number 2, put in effort at home. Put in effort at home. We have time for everything. We have time for business. We have time to go to watch cricket. We have time to go football. We have time for this. We have time for that. The only thing we don't have time for is sabak. The only thing we don't have time for is our children's education. And then how do we expect results? How do we expect to get the grain of fruits of the ilm when we ourselves don't put in effort? It's very important. The kids, a 5-year-old kid, how is he going to learn sabak? He doesn't care. If you put them, sabak yaad kar. He's going to pray one time and he's going to run away and stop playing again. You have to take out time. You have to sit with your kids I heard in one person's lecture, I don't remember who it was, he said, when a kid starts his class, the kid does not start his class, the whole house starts his class. A kid does not start his, the whole house starts his. The parents have to wake up early, the parents have to put in effort, wake up early, make sure he learns sabak, pick him up on time from school, get him home, get him ready, make sure he learns sabak again. It's not a one person, the child cannot learn, he's only 11, 12, 10, 9. They do not understand the value of what they have. You as a parent, you have to put the effort. If you show importance, automatically the kid will understand this is important. The kid himself will realize, yes, my father, my mother, they're putting effort behind me, so this must be important. So if the parent does not put in effort, more likely than not, illa masha'Allah, that kid will not be successful. Illa masha'Allah, Allah can do whatever you want. But usually, success of the kid in madrasa and school comes from hard-working parents. They have to put in the effort. They have to put in the time. You have to sacrifice. MashaAllah, many of us are well off, some of us are not. But even if you're not well off, you're struggling financially, you still have to take out time for your kids. Time. If you do not give time to the kids, you will not get in the effort. You will not get the results. You must put in the time. Effort and time. You have to be part of their education. You have to be part of their education. You leave it to the kids, you're leaving it to failure. And last but not least is the kids. And mashallah, the kids are always spoken to, they always understand. Inshallah, I will trust them. But if these three before, if they put in their effort, correct effort in the correct way, I can guarantee you success. Madrasa is big or madrasa is small, it does not matter. The small madrasa, big madrasa, it does not matter. The Sahaba, how many were there? Very few, a handful. They changed the whole world. Small madrasa, yes, we look for numbers, 24, 31. Allah give you lots of barakah. Allah give it maybe hundreds and hundreds. But if you have 100 and they don't come out properly, you're a waste. And if you have 10 and these 10 come out as gems, they come out and they perfect. They use the best of their ability and they perfect. They use their ability to the best of their ability and they perfect themselves. Success. So I don't have time to talk to the kids, but these three, the masjid committee, the madrasa committee, put in your effort, understand your roles, understand your responsibilities, understand your limitations. The parents, you have to put in your effort. You have to show respect to the ulama. You have to show respect to the madrasa. You have to put in time and hard work. And the ulama continue with your hard work. And at the same time understand that we always have to be forward thinking. The Prophet ﷺ in the Battle of Khandaq, what did he do? He accepted a mashwara from a foreigner. As Salman al-Farsi radiyallahu anhu, he gave an idea that to protect the Muslims, the best idea now is a trench. Trenches were not dug in Arabia. But the Prophet ﷺ, look at this idea, brilliant idea. It's not my idea, somebody else's idea, not me, a foreigner. Salman was a Persian. He brought an idea, it's beneficial, I can take this idea on board. Take ideas, take mashwara locally, take mashwara abroad, take mashwara between yourselves, and you can improve. The ulama can improve, the parents can improve, the madrasa can improve, the committee can improve. Everybody must strive to improve. And if we strive and make this effort, unanimously, we'll disagree on different things. But we agree to disagree, and where we agree upon, we work hard together, and inshallah, today we're saying one jalsa and kids are finishing the Quran, we see much greater fruits. But all four parties must play their part. And without any of these four, a car has four wheels, any of these wheels go missing, we're not going anywhere. Any of these four wheels in our madrasa car, if it goes off the track or loses its nuts, we lose our nuts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me and all of you the ability to act on what has been said. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa sallallahu ta'ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. If I offend anybody, I'm sorry. I'm not here to say long stories and sweet talk. Say as it is, because this is my home. I grew up here. I love you all. And I want the best. I want the best for myself. I want the best for my nephews and my nieces. And when I sit here, I remember Hafiz Abdul-Rehman marhum rahimahullah. He sat here and taught Hafiz Ashraf. Now he's not well. I remember all this. But this is where we grew up. I love Barbados. I love the people here because it's where I grew up. So I don't make offense to anybody, but everybody has to try and improve. Me, myself, or all of us. If we try, so don't offend anybody, I'm very sorry. But things that have to be said need to be said. If I spoke fast, sorry, I had to get these points in before. I lost the time. Exactly.